What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, May 18th, 2024, and we are back for another midday stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. If you are newly subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I go live or upload a new video. Shout out to the members over here. Shout out to everyone over on Patreon. Shout out to those who follow me on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and Discord, and everyone who sends me stories. I greatly appreciate it. So, as you can see by the title, this is why we wait. We are here to talk about finally that Christopher Gilbert situation that I'm now looking back on and saying I'm glad I didn't jump out the window and speak on it when this story first broke. And let this just be a lesson to not jump on every single thing immediately until certain things start to come out. Before we go ahead and get into all of that, let me acknowledge those who are in the chat so far. We have Jesse Paris, Haxon KT, Grape Shot, Leo Wiley, Visu Arise, Miss Renee, Anita Harrell, RDRD, DSM Sinister, Reparations Nation, Till Dog 12, Jerry Bedford, Denise Scales, the Jaded Libra Guy, Firebat, Patricia Jones, Christian the Terminator, DC Precise, Scoop 2003, Soul Survivor, Doc Spencer, Chris Vesey, Missions Vision, Derek Parker, and KC Malone. Shout out to everybody that is in here, and Don P just popped in the chat as well. So we're going to go over a couple of things. That's it. I figure let's start at the beginning with this story and then work our way up to the most recent disappointing part of the story. So with that being said, let me go ahead and share the screen. And we're going to start with this part right here. But before I go ahead and play the video, let me go ahead and give the disclaimer just in case. And shout out to Soul Survivor with the first super chat of the day. With the 20 says, continue to produce justice, brother Torian B1. I appreciate you. All right, so let me go ahead and enlarge the screen, and we will go ahead and get started.
Thanks. This morning, a Shreveport family is demanding answers after their son's near drowning at a lake, Lake Darbon, with friends. And joining me this morning is the family, Christopher Gilbert's mom, along with the family attorney, one of the attorneys, Claudia Payne. Thank you so much for joining me. So let's talk about Chris. What happened? When did you get the call?
I got the call possibly around 8 on April 14th on the Sunday. A friend of his called and she was hysterical crying on the phone. She told me that Chris had fell into the lake and he had been underwater for 20 minutes or so. And I was like, 20 minutes? Why was he under the water for 20 minutes was my first reaction. And she was just like, oh my gosh, she just kept crying hysterically. And I was like, where is he? He's being airlifted to Shreveport. We immediately started calling around, trying to find out where would he be, where would he go. And they informed me that the only trauma unit they have is Ochsner. So we got the Ochsner.
So you heard that right there. He was under the water, or at least they said he was reported being under that water for 20 minutes. First off, it's a miracle he even survived that for 20 minutes. But we already know being under there that long, he's succumbed to a lot of water, a lot of damage from being underwater that long, and not in like a protective suit of some kind, or even in some kind of a device that would keep him from drowning.
They didn't have a call coming in saying that, a plane was about to land. But eventually, about 20 or 30 minutes or so, they got the call saying that he was on the way. He was 10 minutes out. It's like they got the call like right before they landed. And initially, when my son got there, the doctor called us in and told me that at that time that he was brain dead pretty much, and the rest of his organs were starting to fail, and that we had 72 hours on the ECMO machine. ECMO is like sort of like dialysis for the lungs, and they had to put him on a ventilator.
Wow. And so I'm going to bring in one of your family attorneys, Claudia Payne, working along Lee Merritt.
That's correct.
And you guys have learned more. Tell us what
Yes.
you learned. Did he fall into the lake? Was he pushed into the lake?
So initially, as the mother reported, we initially thought that he fell in the lake. That was what the friend group initially reported to officers. Soon after, and I guess after more investigation, they soon found out that he was actually pushed by a female within that friend group. She actually admitted to mom as well as the police officers that she pushed him into the lake.
Was this horseplay or was it mad or?
Well, in 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 the legal field, we characterize things the way we see fit. So, of
Mhm.
course, they are saying horseplay. We are saying that it was a criminal intentional push into the lake.
Mhm. And why didn't anybody go in after him?
Well, now we've seen a video where one of the friends in this group
Okay.
attempted to go into the water briefly, but neither one of the individuals a part of that friend group were the ones to retrieve.
So they said one of the people who was there with them attempted to go in. Why didn't you just go all the way in? Because clearly you had to have known how to swim. Now they said that Christopher Gilbert didn't know how to swim, which is why he was under the water for that long. And I'm sure I would hope, even with the disappointment at the end of the day, that he would have told them that he did not know how to swim. Because remember, the person who got him out the water was a complete stranger. Like, this was nobody that none of the individuals knew. Not even him. This was a complete stranger that went in and saved him.
Him from the actual water.
Okay, we have video of Lake Darbon, and shortly after he went in. Can we share that video, please? Tell me what's going on here, Claudia.
Okay.
This is actually Oshner LSU. We took this video this morning because this currently is where Chris is at this time,
That's
correct?
correct.
Yes,
He's within
ma'am.
their care.
Okay.
This is a more recent photo of Chris. This is approximately 3 days ago.
Mhm.
His condition or his status, it doesn't necessarily get better, but it does change.
Now look at that. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3,
It's just different.
4, 5 people just standing watching him drown. These are his so-called friends, and he's the only black guy. What did I had made a statement on a live. Maybe it was a video, but it was probably a live. I always say, whenever I see a group of white people and they have the one black person that's there, and it could be after an event or whatever the case may be, I always said, and y'all heard me say it, I hope I don't see that black person end up on the 10 o'clock news. And that they basically succumbed to being the black friend, the consequence of being the black friend. I said that several times, and look at where we are now. It's like I called that one right down the middle.
The amount of work that the machines are doing.
Oh snap! I didn't see the other people over here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 people.
Okay.
His behalf is constant. His lungs are said to be at 20%. So his status doesn't really get better. It's just different.
Is he responding?
He is cognitive. He is responding mentally. He cannot vocalize anything currently, but he's able to give a thumbs up and a nod of the head right now.
Okay, now those were the pictures that show some promise. But let's look at the pictures when you first saw Chris at Oshner LSU. Yolanda, these are the after pictures. What was going through your mind when you first saw him? Because he was just lying there with a bunch of tubes.
Which when I first saw him, I was devastated. Like, I felt as though my life had ended in that moment. Like, my son is aspiring to be a medical doctor. My son is, going to be a medical doctor.
He has a master's degree?
He got his master's last year in biological science. Mm-hmm. And he's preparing for medical school. So for this to happen to him, my son is like so sweet, this most selfless being you'll ever meet. And for that to happen to him, like, I was just devastated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it that you are fighting for now?
I want the young lady who pushed my son, who admitted to me in the family waiting area that night at the hospital, because their friend group came to the hospital, still telling me the same fabricated story that he fell. I learned at that moment in the ER, the sheriff called me and he told me, "Are you familiar with what happened?" Yeah, he was at the lake.
7. He said, "What? Where did this happen?" It happened in Louisiana. This happened in Louisiana, and it's funny because if y'all remember, I was doing and following a story about a little boy a couple years ago named Kawan Bobby Charles, and trust me, I still look for updates about that, and it's crazy because the last time an update came about that story was in 2022, 20, somewhere around, I think like 2022. It's been 2 years, but basically it was a little boy. I think he was 14 at the time. Well, he's eternally 14. I said at the time, little black boy went off to be, I guess, with his friend. Like, I think his mom went to the store or something like that, and he went and left home, went to go be with a friend, quote unquote. The friend was a little white boy. He went over to the house and he was there with the mother, and then all of a sudden he just went missing. But when they found him in one of those parishes, face down in a puddle of water. I mean, face started to deteriorate and everything. Those who've been following me for a while are aware of that story. Then there was another one that happened before then where it was a black guy, again, the black friend on a boat in South Carolina with his so-called white friends. All of them went out, but not all of them came back. The one that didn't come back was the quote unquote black friend. They came back and gave all different stories about what happened, and nothing came of that story. That was like the year before that happened. That's why I say these water deaths and surrounding black people, notice that all the time it's a lot of white people around. The white people come back, but the black person doesn't. Or whenever it's the situation of not even just with water, just them being the only black person there. Of course, you know about the one with the woman who was the teacher who went to that sleepover and she was the only black woman there. And then all of a sudden she ends up dead, but then they try to make it seem like she committed suicide. All I'm saying is just be careful if you are the only black person there. I'm just saying.
And he fell. He was like, "No." One of the young ladies pushed him, and I'm like, "Who pushed him?" And I started looking around the room. Which one of y'all pushed him? Mm-hmm. You know, the young lady, like, "I did." And I was like, "Why would you push my son in the lake knowing he couldn't swim?" She said, "Well, ma'am, I didn't know that man couldn't swim." And I was,
now listen to that. Now the mother, her, is questioning the girl or the woman, whoever she is. I don't know how old she is, who pushed her son. Well, she probably would have to be a grown woman. I doubt that she was a teenager. About pushing her son into the lake, and she said, "I'm the one that did it." Now notice how she didn't address Chris as Chris. She said, "Oh, that man." Now, if this is your friend, as you say, why would you address your friend, as in a very dismissive tone too, as that man? You made it seem like he was just a complete stranger. At that point, he was just nothing.
was like, "Who is that man? This is supposed to be amongst groups of friends, right? Who is that man?" Chris. Everybody knows he.
Same thing I was wondering, Jacob. He says, why didn't she give her a beat down? And this is the same news clip that Kid Gravity went over when this story had first broke, like about a week or so ago. I was wondering the same thing. The minute she did that, it would have took the jaws of life to pry me up off of her. They would have had to have given me something to calm me down.
He can't swim. You know, he jokes about him not being able to swim. Even when we went to the restaurant, the owner of the restaurant even stated, everybody knows Chris can't swim. He's been coming here for 2 years. He always joking about it. I got to have on a life jacket, you know, because they say he will come there and go canoeing sometime and he will always have on a life jacket. So everybody knows. If you look at some of the posts, you can see anybody that know him from elementary to middle school. Chris can't swim.
Who actually pulled him from the water? Was it the restaurant worker?
No, it was actually another patron of the restaurant, Dawson Faust, who was a complete stranger to the family and the community prior to this, but now he's their hero, you know. And no, I mean, he deserves the honor.
Yeah. So Claudia Lee is actually flying into town. What's
He is.
next for you all today?
So his legal team, Chris's legal team, consists of myself and Lee Merritt of Lee Merritt and Associates from Dallas. We have a dual interest: first, to seek justice by demanding that an arrest is made, but also to hold the restaurant bar owner responsible for not keeping Chris safe while he would patronize their business.
All right. Anything else you want to add? We'll be following this story.
I just want to thank everybody for the prayers and the concerns. Thank you. Please keep the prayers coming. He is recovering. It's still a long journey, but I see progress. We see progress. And I thank you all for the love and the prayers. Thank you.
Okay, so that's pretty much the whole news clip right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to segue into this article right here. Now, I'm not going to read the article because the article is just piggybacking off of what y'all just heard, so it would defeat the purpose of me reading it. But it's something I noticed about this article and the next one that I'm going to show you that I am going to go over. And it is both coming from the New York Post. It was published May 4th, updated May 5th. So this is a few days after the initial report, which came out on April 30th. And it just says aspiring doctor brain dead. First off, he's not brain dead. He's not in a vegetable state. He just suffered some brain damage. So there's a difference. There was a lot of discrepancies there saying he was brain dead, but no, he's not brain dead. He just had some brain damage. So I wanted to bring this up because sometimes the New York Post will have the comments turned on for certain articles and sometimes they'll turn them off. On this article right here, like I said, I'm not going to read it because it's just basically like repeating the news that y'all just heard. The comments are turned off because the comments will fall somewhere up here, or if you're in the New York Post, it'll have the comment little tab right here and say how many comments are left. And the reason why I bring that up is because that segues us into this article right here, which was posted May 11th. And it says aspiring doctor who nearly drowned after being pushed into the lake speaks out for the first time. Now look at what tab is here that wasn't on the previous article. The comments are on. Denise said, I'm not so sure he's not brain dead. I understand what you mean. I understand why you say that. I mean, in a technical sense, he's not, but I see what you mean. But as you can see right here, the comments are turned on. And when I saw that, I said, oh God, I can only imagine what that comment section looks like. But before we go into the comments, I'm going to go over the article and then we're going to go into the comments. It says an aspiring doctor who nearly drowned after being pushed into a Louisiana lake says he has no ill will toward the friend. So you're still calling him her friend who shoved him, and claims he wants to set the record straight about the scary episode, told the Post in an exclusive interview. Here comes the steamroll of disappointment. He says, I don't think anyone did anything intentionally wrong. Dude, you was pushed into a lake knowing you cannot swim. They knew you couldn't swim and you were underwater for 20 minutes. It took a complete stranger that nor you or your so-called friends knew to come and save you from dying. If this was indeed a quote-unquote accident, why didn't your friends go and pull you out of the water? Why did they just let you stay in there? And they could swim. It said he was on life support for 3 weeks. This happened on April 14th. He was on life support for 3 weeks. Gilbert and about 10 so-called friends were hanging out and drinking at Rhett's Tails and Shells, a restaurant in Farmerville, Louisiana, about 90 minutes east of Shreveport, when his quote-unquote buddy and co-worker Cassidy Holland and Gilbert began joking around. And this is the chick right here. Let me enlarge it. This is the woman that pushed him into the water. Her. This is her. I took my keys, wallet, and phone out of my pockets and took my shoes off. I knew Cassidy wanted to push me in for messing with her, so I kind of played into it, said Gilbert. Well, here's the thing. Let's hypothetically say that we'll go with your story of y'all playing around like you said. You knew you couldn't swim. She knew you couldn't swim. Why did you allow this woman to push you into the water knowing you couldn't swim? And if you couldn't swim and you wanted to do this, where was your life jacket? Why didn't you have on a life jacket? You know, we're going to chalk this one up to not just being off code, but being pure stupid. There's so many red flags with this, but there's also so many things that could have been avoided. If you just, I don't know, thought, if you were just to think. Now, you are a person that went to school, got your master's degree to go into science or whatever field it is. So it's very interesting that you're very book smart, but it sounds to me you're passing in the book smarts, but you're failing in the street smarts. It goes on to say, I thought maybe the water wouldn't be as deep and I kind of would hit the ground and get my footing to shoot up and come back up and grab the pier and just stand there, he said during a Zoom interview from his home in Ruston, Louisiana. And then the water ended up being deeper than we thought and being a lot colder than we thought, said Gilbert, who admitted he's not the strongest swimmer and I misjudged the situation. According to a police report, Gilbert was underwater for no more than 5 minutes. Do you know, shoot, a lot can happen in 5 minutes, especially when it comes to bodies of water, with a witness estimating the amount of time at more like 3 or 4 minutes. Friends tried to save, listen, we saw the video, they didn't try, but panicked when they couldn't. Eventually, restaurant customer Dawson Faust noticed the commotion and dove in and saved Gilbert. Several people performed CPR on the dock, noting Gilbert was breathing on his own and had a heartbeat. He was rushed to a nearby hospital and later airlifted to LSU Ochsner Health Shreveport, where he spent nearly 3 weeks on life support before being released. The on-duty nurse stated that the standard operating procedure for drowning victims is to put them on a vent for a while so the body can heal faster, said the police report, which also said that just 1 day after the incident, Gilbert was responding to commands by ICU staff. The shove made headlines after Gilbert's distraught mother, Yolanda George, claimed the pre-med student was brain dead and his organs were starting to fail after he was pushed into the water and stayed there for 10 minutes. A family lawyer later insinuated the shove was racially motivated. And see now, and by this happening, by him now getting so off code with what happened, they are going to take what his mother said and what the lawyer said, who y'all heard from, the two women y'all heard from in the news clip, and they're going to spin it. Y'all will see what I mean when I pull up these comments. And he messed that up. So now he's basically made his lawyer and his mother proverbial punching bags because he got off code. I kind of hate the claims about me being brain dead or this attempting for it to be some sort of race issue. There you go. So he basically just told y'all to not make it about race. That is what he told us, and that is what he told his mother, and that is what he told his lawyer. He is concerned about the quote-unquote brain dead claim because he said, who would want a doctor who suffered brain damage? Holland, age 22, insisted she and her and others attempted to save Gilbert, telling the Post, I would never try to hurt him. Chris is a beautiful person, my co-worker and dear friend. I'm so thrilled at his recovery and getting back to normal. Gilbert also dismissed claims from attorney Claudia Payne, who was hired by his family, that they were seeking to arrest Holland. That's completely false. He reunited. Oh, look at this. He reunited with his friends, including Holland, within 2 days of returning home. 2 days, y'all. Not 2 weeks, 2 days. There was a lot of relief, and I felt like it was very emotional, he said. His new attorney, Aaron Lawrence, who I believe is a white guy, told the Post they don't plan to press any charges against Holland or the restaurant, and said some of George and Payne's statements were reckless. Payne did not return messages seeking comment. This has been a prime example of how sharing information without common sense has made an already bad situation so much worse. Payne had said Gilbert and Lawrence's latest claims are simply false. For nearly 2 weeks, Mr. Gilbert expressed the desire to have Holland arrested for pushing him into the lake. After talking to the same friends from the incident, Gilbert texted me the following saying, "Hey, Claudia, I was able to take your advice and pinpoint what happened that day. I have decided I no longer want to go through with it anymore. Thank you for all your help. I'm sorry I wasted your time." That is what he said to the black female lawyer, Claudia Payne. That's what he said to her in a text. Gilbert is being manipulated and taken advantage by the same group of friends, quote unquote, in his new attorney, Payne wrote in a statement. Payne, who graduated pre-med from Louisiana Tech last year, started a GoFundMe this week to help cover his medical expenses. As of Friday, he raised $20,000 of his $50,000 goal. But the bill for the flight lift to the hospital alone was nearly $65,000, according to Lawrence, who estimated that Gilbert's total medical expenses could run up to $300,000. Well, you guess what? You won't get an assist from me. I want y'all to put it in the chat. If you're not going to get an assist from him, type in the chat, no assist. No assist. Gilbert plans to return to his bartender job as soon as next week and continue studying for the MCAT exam next year. I want to thank everyone for their support and prayers, he said. Okay, so now we done gone through the article. Now let's go through some of the comments, and it's interesting how these comments line themselves up. So y'all can already pretty much guess like who's leaving these comments just based on the verbiage. So we have this one person right here says, "We need more young men like the good doctor. His willingness to forgive and compassion will make a great doctor." Someone else says, there is nothing to forgive. He consented to it. This was just an accident in the sense that they all misjudged how deep the water was. He does seem like a good guy, though, for coming out and setting the record straight. Now, look at this one. Sadly, it seems his family was all too ready for him to die to secure their race-baiting payday. He has a lot of serious talking to do with his family. His mammy is a troublemaker. Her claims were baseless. What a surprise. Where is she at now? Hiding instead of apologizing. Typical. Now, here's one person that says, "Yep, it's always quote unquote good when black folks forgive whites. It hardly ever happens in reverse. He should have sued the white woman if only to pay his entire medical bills." Talking nonsense about quote unquote friends. What else they talking about on here? Thank God this young man is alive and heading towards full recovery. The world and medical field is a better place with a man who doesn't have to see race in every incident, even the ones with horrible repercussions. Keep in mind, these are the same people that are now claiming that there's something called anti-whiteness, but okay, fine, whatever. Thank God this was not one of those. Much peace and prosperity towards this young man. And shout out to Soul Survivor for the 5. He says interracial sexual access is at play, everyone. Thank you, Professor Black True. I appreciate it. His mother was looking for a payday more than she cared about the well-being of her son. She doesn't want him to succeed in this world and was hoping he didn't make it so she could get that huge lawsuit. Now that he's alive, coherent, and can speak for himself, she and his sisters, who wrote this, are upset that they're not going to get that payday. His well-being, his future, and the truth as to what happened that day are irrelevant as they only care about the money they were going to receive. Sounds like a stand-up guy. I hope he recovers and becomes a doctor. I also hope he has health insurance. Sure, he can and should sue his so-called friend, but let's face it, she's a 20-something bartender with $50 to her name. And it goes on and goes on, but y'all pretty much get the gist. Like I said, though the people in that comment section, they loves them a forgiving Negro. They loves them a forgiving Negro. This guy right here, that is the type of black guy or black person that they like. That subservient, forgive type, or the tap dancing type. Those are the only two they like. They wouldn't like someone like me, and that's fine because I don't want you to like me. I feel like if you say I'm good or anything like that, I'm gonna feel like I failed. I'm gonna feel somewhere in the direction of my life I stirred off and went into the wrong lane, and I'm on my way to a dead end. But I know some of y'all are fired up in the chat, but I'm gonna drop the link. I want to hear from y'all so we can fire it up on this panel. I'll keep the line open until maybe about 1 o'clock or depending how many people come up, but the link is right there. I know y'all got something to say, and I can't wait to hear it. But yes, those are the type of Negroes that they like. And shout out to the 333 people that are in here. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And we got our first person, Miss Nisi. What's going on?
Good afternoon, Torian.
Good afternoon.
No joking. This is some straight up bullshit. That lost fool would rather lick the asses of PC. And he basically disowned his mother. Just refuted everything she said. He is lost. Me being a parent, forgive? No, ain't no forgive. I'm going to speak it. Fuck him. He made his bed. Now let him lie in it alone. I'm out.
Thank you, Ms. Nisi, for coming up straight and direct and to the point. And exactly, like they literally had it laid out for him. Like all he had to do was go along. That is it. You know what this reminds me of? Y'all remember the one in New York, the one with the dog? Y'all remember him? He literally had it laid out right there on a silver platter for him. All he had to do was testify against this woman. He would have received a nice payday. Even former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who is shaky on shaky ground himself, was willing to actually pass a bill based off of that. But he dropped the ball. And by he, I'm talking about the black guy. He dropped the ball when he decided he didn't want to testify. His own sister had to cuss him out. And what did he get out of it? Some show on Nat Geo that nobody knows about or even cared about to watch. I couldn't even tell you the name of the show. I just remembered it was on Nat Geo. Thank you, Casey Christian Cooper. I couldn't remember I knew it began with a C, but I couldn't remember what his name was. It's like, how in the world? It's like, are y'all insane? Y'all know how hard it is to even get that far, and you literally have the whole thing sitting right in your hands. Meanwhile, you have people that literally got to fight tooth and nail to even get to that close. You have it sitting right there in your hands. All you got to do is just hold on to it. But some odd reason y'all like to part your damn hands and let everything just fall out of it. How? Like I said, no assist. You have fun paying off that $300,000. That means now you just entered into some debt. If you would have took the right and correct route, she would have been paying for it. Oh, we got our next person up. What's going on, Jesse?
What's up, Torian? B1 salute to you on the chat. I agree with everything that Sister Nisi said. Like you always say, I feel nothing. Like, if you don't give a damn about your own life, then what makes you think that I'm supposed to give a damn about your own life? Like, this dude is the epitome of a raccoon. And like we always say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So He This was a direct slap in the face of his mother. This is a direct slap in the face to the black community that try to stand up for this dude. Like, you want to still be around these savages, uh, and you get what you want. Um, my thing is he even FBA? Because this don't even seem like an FBA dude. Like, if he was FBA, you would think the ancestors would be talking to him, like Tariq said, like, hey, you shouldn't be out here with these folks. This reminds me of that Jamaican dude in Pennsylvania that got killed last year, the year before last, that went on that hunting trip with his white buddies.
I think I remember that.
It gives me those kind of vibes, and that dude was from Jamaica. So I don't know what it is about these damn tethers, but I would think their ancestor memory would be kicking in. Like, hey, shouldn't be around these savages. I shouldn't be nowhere close to water, especially if I can't swim. Why are there 8? Why am I the only black person here? Like, these niggas kill me with this stuff. And he was working to be a doctor. This sounds like another Ben Carson type. Let me stop getting high off his own supply. But that's all I got, Torian. Thanks for letting me come up.
No problem. All right, shout out to Jess for coming up. Next, we got JDW. What's going on?
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, how you doing, man? Salute to the Black family. FBA all day. Listen. Listen. You did a story on his brother that went to Pittsburgh.
Wait, hold on, JDW. You got a lot of background noise. I'm gonna bring you down and see if you can get to a quiet location because I can't compete with that background noise.
Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna bring you down, and then hopefully by the time I bring you back up, you'll be good. But let's try this. Matthew, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Torian?
Doing good.
I hope my background noise isn't too bad. I'm on the road.
Yeah, you kind of good. It's not too bad. I can hear you.
All right. So this is just a crazy case altogether because he showed blatant disrespect to his own life. And I really don't have much to say, like the other guy said. Like, if he doesn't really care about himself, like, why should we care about him? Like, this video right here should be posted by his GoFundMe so people might get their refunds back if it's possible. Because this is just utter nonsense. I was feeling like, he might have some kind of mental case. He might be in the spectrum, and after the 2 days, he might have been coerced by his quote friends. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But in the whole regard to him becoming a doctor, I wholly disagree with that, because if he doesn't care about his own life, what would make you think that he would care about his patient's well-being? That's all I have to say. Have a good day, man.
You too. Thanks for coming up. All right, next up we have Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, Torian, B1, brother.
B1.
This story is still developing, I guess. But when I saw what this brother was saying about how they were friends and they wouldn't hurt him, I missed the stream actually, but I got the gist of it, and I'm just tired of people, like black people in general, at least some of them, taking the high road on these things. We need to be a little more aggressive about stuff like this, like more decisive. I mean, these people straight up tried to kill you, and you're out here making excuses for them and saying, oh, it was an accident. Yet none of them, at least from what it looks like, even came to see you at the hospital. They didn't pay any of your bills, none of that. And yet you still think that you're your friends? Nah, this is beyond stupid. I'm sorry. It reminds me of the case with that the brother that was killed in his apartment.
Botham John.
Exactly. How the family hugged the cop that killed him.
Yeah, the brother hugged the Amber Geiger, and then you had
Amber.
And then you had the judge. She gave her a hug too, and then gave her a Bible, like, and basically prayed for her. I'm like, Oh my God! Like
Nah, nah, we
it's like I said. I felt like I'm living in the Twilight Zone right now. I could not
exactly.
believe what I was watching during that whole court proceeding. Then you had then I think you had the bailiff, and I think she was a black woman too, brushing this woman's hair.
Hair and all. Yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, wait, we need to stop this. We need to stop this. It's yeah, I get it. As black people, we tend to be a little more. How does I think Brother Phil Scott puts it, like we have a lot of moral. What's the word? Moral. It escapes me, but basically we're very caring people by default, but we shouldn't let that override our survival. If this was my brother that this happened to, best believe people were going to pay either in cash or in kind, because something's going to happen. It doesn't. We can't allow this kind of thing to stand, but like the other caller said, like it's really up to the guy. If the victim of this crime feels that they're they didn't mean to harm him, then there's not much else we can do. We just keep it moving. But I think as a rule, we need to start seeing these things for what they are. This is hatred, and he's lucky. He's lucky because I remember there was another case. There have been several other cases like this, but one in particular. I don't know if you covered it. The one where this guy goes on he goes on a fishing trip or vacation with the like he's the only black guy there, and then everyone else is PC, and he got he went overboard,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
somehow
yes.
they all
I spoke about that earlier. Like it was in South Carolina. I remember. Yeah,
yeah
I had spoke about
yeah.
that.
Oh, okay. And it was like, and then this is almost the same thing. If he's just lucky to be alive, hopefully he doesn't have any brain damage, even though his
Oh yeah,
decision seemed to say
I
otherwise.
think he did suffer some brain damage. I don't think he was brain dead, because if he was brain dead, then he wouldn't be able to be mobile. But
Move, yeah, exactly.
but I definitely think being underwater for a certain amount of time, of course, all that water is going to get into your system, so it starts to flood your
And
brain.
then
So yeah,
oxygen, yeah,
yep,
and cutting off oxygen to the brain and all that. Well, it's really unfortunate, but I wish him all the best, and thank you once again for covering all these things, because we really need to hear it, and we really need to start changing our attitudes. And I'm glad that voices like yours, you're causing a lot of people to really change their views. Best believe that. So
appreciate it.
I guess I'll land my plane there, and have a good weekend.
You too. Shout out to Xavier for coming up. Grace, I see you're down in the queue, but it says device is not connected, so I can't bring you up. And JDW, I don't know if you're still like in a noisy area or not. Let me know in the private chat if you can, if you got to a quiet area before I bring you back up. Yes, Miss Renee, Everett Jackson. I forgot about him. He was the one with the white girlfriend that went to, what was it, Idaho? The one, I think he went to LSU, and he went with her to Idaho for some kind of a wedding or something like that. And mind you, it was Mormons. It was a Mormon wedding. Now all kinds of red flags, red alerts, alarms, Morse code, all of that should have went up. And well, now he's eternally the age that he was. All right, so you said you're in a quiet place. Okay, cool. You good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
JD?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, man. So, first of all, I feel no feelings for the guy. And first of all, I'd like to apologize for the background noise. I was at the gym, just getting my work on. But like I said before, I don't feel no feelings for this dude. So, it's the same. You covered this story about this brother who went to Pittsburgh, who lived in Pittsburgh, and he went on a hunting trip. And he ended up getting shot at least 10 to 15 times. And they had the audacity to say that it was an accident. And come to find out that all the trajectory of the bullets hit his back. Okay, one of them hit the back of his head. So obviously it wasn't an accident. And what's crazy is that his wife warned him not to go a week in advance. When do you understand about women, especially black women, they got great intuition, way more pervasive than black men will ever do. And then I know I'm saying a lot, but women always keep their guard up when it comes to dangerous situations. So this brother goes up there to unfortunately, get his wig split, his wig pushed back. So, it's kind of hard to feel for this dude because this hunting trip that he planned was being in concern of his wife for weeks in advance. So that being said, I don't feel nothing. And and I heard, speaking of which, I heard that Kristen Cooper, Nat Geo show is on the verge of getting canceled. It's on the verge of getting canceled. So
I didn't even know it was still on.
Me either. But I'm glad it's just getting canceled. It's bad when your own sister has to call you out on your manhood over something that was blatantly dead ass wrong. He was the only person defending that woman, as far as I'm concerned. Now, granted, he kind of did got what he wanted with that whack ass show, and the white woman pretty much can't even get a job in New York City. She had to leave the city. Okay, the Amy chick, she had to leave the city. Last time I heard, she left the city. So he kind of got what he wanted, but there's no way I as a black man can look at this man and say that he got ahead, knowing that his own sister had to cuss him out and question his manhood. When you got your own sister to question your manhood as a man, that says a lot about you as a man. Okay, that right there, you have to reevaluate yourself as a man. Say, listen, my own sister that loves me is questioning me. Imagine what other people think about. But I hope that his show gets canceled, and pretty much I hope it gets pulled up by the police, because these sellouts, these forgiving, moral compass having individuals in the black community deserve to get the police brutality treatment. Get their ass beat by the police. I don't want them to get deleted, but if they do, it is what it is. And when it comes to that Amber Geiger case, the judge who hugged Amber Geiger, she was the same judge who sentenced 2 black women to life in prison over an accidental death of one of the woman's child. She drew the book at them. It's on video. You can find that video on YouTube. But she had the audacity to play victim, knowing that she shows no mercy to black people in Texas, sentencing them to life in prison, giving them football numbers. It's well-documented videos on this. Now, mind you, you have to look outside of the YouTube space to look up these videos, because sometimes you can't find them on YouTube. Okay? You might get lucky, but not all the time. Excuse me. But like I said before, I feel nothing for this brother. This coon. I don't feel nothing for him. He got to pay extensive medical bills over something that was intentionally done to him. It wasn't an accident. It was intentionally done to him. He could have died. But like I said before, I don't feel sorry for these people, man. Like I'm getting sick and tired of these sellouts, man. They can't be trusted, okay? And unfortunately, there's too many of them that I can count in our generation. We're both 35 years old. Our generation of black men, unfortunately, almost the majority of them, they can't be trusted. I'm just keeping the buck. They can't be trusted, okay? They showed their true colors back in 2020 when the George Floyd riots. But they were the same individuals who questioned everything that you was talking about prior to it. They cannot be trusted. And I'm gonna let you go, man. You have a great day. I'm gonna land. All right, B1.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming up. All right, next up. Okay, Grace, it seems like you got your stuff together, so we're gonna bring you on up. Grace, you got it.
Hi, thank you. I'm new to StreamYard, so thanks for calling out that I wasn't connected.
Okay. No
this one this is one of the reasons why the more I learn about swirlers, the less I trust them. They are some very dangerous people. I get there are situations where you can't help whatever who you fall in love with, but um, in most cases you actually can. Um, this guy shouldn't have been a doctor. And oftentimes, swirlers, they typically have a lot of contempt for the opposite sex, which means this person shouldn't be nowhere near black women, and he definitely shouldn't be anywhere near black children. And as a mother, it seems like she may have done as much as she could do to get him to the point where he is now, because to be a doctor is not an easy feat. He just got his master's degree and all that. So I'm quite sure there was a lot of sacrifice that his family made to get him to that point. And, a lot of families, when they struggle like that with intergenerational poverty, when one person make it, we put all of our support behind that person, thinking that they're going to turn around and look back and pull us all up. But in this particular situation, I really hate to say it, but she might really want to think about abandoning him, because he's very dangerous. He has placed a target on this woman's back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when I was reading, like when I was going over those comments. I'm like, or even not even just the comments in the section, like the people commenting on the article, but even with what he was saying, it's like he threw his mother and that black lawyer under the bus. I'm like, do you realize they were trying to help you out? All you had to do was just like go along with it. Like, and you could have probably had it, like, who knows where that could have went. Now you got to be stuck with the bill. You heard what his new lawyer said. They said, yeah, he got this GoFundMe where they're trying to raise like $50,000, but they said all in all, it's going to have to be more than that, because you got all these medical bills that equal out to about $300,000. I said, have fun paying it.
Yeah, have fun paying it by yourself, and have fun changing your own diapers as well. But what I didn't understand is what connection, because we all know that he's brain damaged. Whether it's a racial issue or not, it still doesn't escape the fact that he's brain damaged. And nobody is going to want a doctor, a self-hating doctor with brain damage at that.
Yeah, that could right there. That's like possibly a career ender. A career ended before it even began. Because remember, he only went to, like, this was pre-med. Like, he's not even a doctor.
Oh shoot! Yeah. Well, goodness. Well, I would pray for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. I would pray for him, but I don't know. I agree heavily with the last caller. I really think that it's good for the heavens to weed people like that out. And just as a black woman, it's a little bit personal, because I understand the sacrifices a lot of us make for our families. And through the black media, I'm starting to see a lot of back-to-back cases where hate crimes are being exacted against black women just in the course of us doing our jobs. The one Uber driver, the one lady in Tacoma who was savagely beaten to death, I think I found out about that from your channel. The security guard out here. And so now here you have this black mother again doing her job to support her family and represent for her child, and he's going to do something like that. No, I would really have to search my soul and find the strength to continue supporting him, because at the end of the day, we are not black girl magic. We are human beings, and I really do not appreciate what he did. So that's all I have to say, but thank you for having me up.
No problem. Thanks for coming up. Thank you, Grace, for coming up. Next up, we have Defiant. What's going on?
Hey, Torian, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm assuming he cooned, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He had. He literally, like I said, he literally had the bag right there in front of him.
Yeah, that's why Jason Black said we have to wait until we feel these coons out, because they like to go for the bag or just bow down, and then and then everybody's kind of stuck with their ass out, and so I feel bad for the mother and stuff like that. But let this dude fall where he's at. Let him fall, and let that. I don't know why people are not learning the lessons of today now that we all have to stay on code and understand that you ain't got no friends. Like, Professor Black Truth always recites a quote, like John Henry Clay, you have no friends. So I don't understand why people think Coonan is going to get them a long career payment with, clearly this white woman pushed them into the water, and these friends, so-called friends, watched them to drown. And unfortunate, and also too, we got to be careful with this situation that's going on down there in Florida, because these parents sound like they're going to start cooning too. So
definitely.
So I just want to land my plane there, man. Thanks, Tori.
I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, next up we have Don P. Don P, are you there? It sounds like it's a connection issue.
I'm having a little reception problem, I guess, on the headset side. I'm using a different. Don't state on my other one. But at any rate, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I think there's something going on with the Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's going in and out. Like it's like I can hear you a little bit and then it goes out.
Yeah. Okay, fine now.
Wait, try to say something now.
Yeah, I think it's something with the Bluetooth this unit for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I don't like that Bluetooth when it comes to StreamYard. That's the main reason why I don't like that Bluetooth.
Yeah, well, about it is it goes through this mixer. Has to be connected. I don't know. I mean, the Bluetooth has to be connected for some reason, but we're using hardware. It's beyond me, but at any rate, all I got to say.
Yeah, it keeps going in and out. Like even when you start to talk, it comes in and then it cuts back up.
I'm gonna drop down.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go out and come back in. All right. So we're gonna wait for Don P to get that tech together and see what y'all talking about in the chat. Yeah, Remy said shout out to the bystander that jumped in like a brother in Birmingham. Yeah, like it was just a random patron. It was, like I said, it was a stranger that nobody knew, and he came in and saved him. And like someone said in the chat, if that bystander did not come and jump into the water to save him, he would be out of here. That's why I say he's fortunate to even be alive, even after being under that water for 5 minutes. Anonymous said, whatever happens to him, it's on him. No sorrows from me, no assist. Exactly. They put that GoFundMe. They're thinking that we're going to see. Let me tell you, the people that's going to donate to that GoFundMe are the ones that was in that comment section who he was saying he's such a good guy. I'm glad he forgave her and all types of stuff like that. Those are the people that's going to donate to him. And Don P, when you get your stuff together, just put in the chat and let me know when you're ready. But I'm gonna bring the next person up. We got Black Rage 843. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, but I would like to say I've met dudes like this in the military. You can't trust them at all. Like for real, they like to play like say you get into it with like some type of disagreement. They the first one on the scene, like an attack dog or something. Like they gonna do something. And this man talked to him. It wasn't, but they pushed him in the water. He's making excuses for him. When he said that, I said, bro, I'm done. Okay. Ain't no way. They know you can't swim, and they pushed you in the water. And then the same my city with Dylan Roof. When he showed up to church, you got some of these old coons down here in Charleston, South Carolina. We forgive him. I said, wait, what? Yeah, when it first happened, it was like they forgive him and stuff. God to handle it. I'm like, bro, he just shot 9 people, and which many of us thought that. which many of us that's in my age range is thought that was a hit because the pastor was in like some type in the politics, so we always figured that was a hit. The other 8 people just to cover it up. Yeah, that just made me sick when this man just started to try to excuse that. They didn't mean to do it like this. Like they splash you with a super soaker or something. But I'm like, bro, you would have lost your life and you don't want to press charges. Man, these coons are something else, man.
Yep,
Anyway,
like we said, he's on his own. Whatever stuff he got to pay for, hey, you ain't getting a dime out of me.
no. I look at him like, bro, they should have drowned you. Then maybe I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Right.
There ain't no way you gonna push me in the water and then it's supposed to be fun and games knowing I can't swim. Oh no, we gonna have to fight after that. We gonna have to square up every last one of them. And he won't. I don't know. That just made me upset when I found that out. I'm like, is you serious? And he make an excuse like, this man, you was brain damaged for a little while, and you might possibly still be. And you maybe it's the brain damage that making him think like that. You ever think about that?
I don't think so. When you see the people that he hangs around, no, I highly doubt it.
All right.
I'm not even going to let that thought even enter my mind.
Because I thought about that. Maybe the brain damage, or was he always as stupid? Anyway, thank you for having me to the chat. How y'all doing? And I'll see y'all later.
Hey, all right. Shout out to Black Rage for coming up. There was another person that was just up here, but they fell off right as soon as Black Rage was about to get on. And shout out to On Code and Gatekeeping for sending the Cash App. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, Don P is back. Let's see if his stuff is working now. Are you good now?
Yeah, everything's good, man.
Much better.
Everything's
cool.
Good. Yeah. I had to switch up to the iPad 10.
Okay.
iPad. Yeah. So, at any rate, man, I always wonder, what are you thinking in this day and age, with all of the technology that we have and all the information that's right at your fingertips? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're any different from those people in that story? And then I just, like, there's just no excuse for stupidity. There's no excuse for stupidity.
And it's like, how could you not see it? It's like that's why I gave the scenario. I'm like, okay, you couldn't swim. One, why would you even go out there and entertain that? Number one, that you were going in, because they said he says when he went into the lake, they didn't think the water was going to be that deep. Well, first of all, like I said, if you can't swim, then you should have, and I said it, had like a life jacket on or something. You just don't just go jumping into or letting someone push you into a random lake and you can't swim. Like, there was so many options he could have had that he could have did, but going back to what I said, he has a whole bunch of book smarts, because for him to be pre-med and get that far, you have to have some kind of level of,
I've seen those people,
street smarts at all, to really weigh out and really assess the situation that he was in. And I counted the people. It was 8 people there, and he was the only black guy.
And no one jumped in.
Except for the person in the restaurant that just happened to look over and see. Exactly.
These are your friends, and they can all swim.
Exactly.
And they're watching you die. It's like a lynching. It was like they were at a lynching and they were just fucking enjoying themselves. Watch this nigger die. Watch this nigger die. I got nothing for him, because you're gonna go back around these same fucking people. Are you crazy?
2 days later? Are you literally in the article? It said 2 days.
What in the hell?
I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's frustrating. 2 days later, not 2 weeks, but 2 days.
I can't wait to get back around Miss Ann. Man, you know what I do though in my everyday life? When I see one of our young people hanging around with them folks, If I have an opportunity and I can get them around by themselves, I tell them, I ask them, what are you doing hanging around them? These people are your sworn enemies. They may smile in your face, but they hate you. Yeah. They absolutely hate you. And when there's an opportunity to do your black ass in, where they can slide and pass, they will.
Yeah, and notice too, have you ever noticed, and I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure everyone in the chat has seen it, whenever you see the quote-unquote black friend, don't you notice they have a certain look to them? Like it's a certain aesthetic that they have, opposed to like if you see a bunch of black friends hanging with each other, it's a certain aesthetic to them. But when they're the one black friend with them, they look a certain way, they dress a certain way, they even talk a certain way.
Well, Hostess helps us, figure out all the people groups. Yeah. You got the ho-hos. You got the ding-dongs. That would be Roland Martin. You got the Twinkies. And you got the snowballs. That's all the people groups right there. And so when you see them folks, yeah, they look like ho-hos. I mean, yeah, they look like ho-hos.
Or Oreos.
Yeah, they look like ho-hos. So,
it's almost like one of the things like blink if you're okay. It's like blink once if you're okay, blink twice if you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you like this though. For every black person, he just ruined his opportunity to have them as a patient. Because now I know that you love these folks so much, you're gonna use their medical protocol when it comes to me. So thank you, but no fucking thank you. If you're that stupid, you might leave a tool inside of me, and I'll land there.
Appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Don P for coming up, and everyone. That was the last person that we are having up here today. It is 1:09. Shout out to everybody that came up and lent their voice to the topic at hand. Also, shout out to Soul Survivor Savion and Scoop for hitting the super chat, and also to the individuals who hit the Cash App. I appreciate that as well. We will be back on here tomorrow for True Crime Sundays. Yes, we are back with True Crime Sunday. We didn't do one last Sunday because it was Mother's Day, and we'll be back on schedule starting tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that one. That should be a very interesting one as well, as all of them have been so far. But with that being said, y'all, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Shout out to the replay game for those who weren't able to attend the live. And be safe and be one.